Okay, so we did all the preparation for the distribution point. So, and here on the configuration manager, what we're going to do is we're going to administration, site configuration, servers, and site system roles. So this is where we add roles to existing servers, as well as create new servers. This is the point here on the server 04. We don't have a distribution point, and we are going to create a new distribution point for our environment. So you can just right click, create site system server, and here we're going to put the server name. So in your case, I will browse here SRV004, and it automatically adds this for us. The site code, I have one site only, so it's a primary site. But if you have, for example, a CAS and you're managing everything from the CAS, you can select a different site. Maybe you have multiple sites, you have down a different site. I will ignore the FQDN for the internet. I will ignore the required site to initiate connection. And I will use the built-in configuration manager computer account to install the information or the binary. So I use this. Otherwise, if, for example, was another domain, a non-trusted domain, I could use a specific user account, then I would select here. In this case, I will just click Next. Proxy information I don't have on my environment here. I will click Next. And this let me just go back. This proxy is the proxy that will be used by that server, in this case, server 04, to do something. So in this case here, we don't have proxy. I will just ignore, click Next. And on the system role selection, I will select distribution point. And I will click, and you can see here now, lots of new information appeared based on the distribution point information that I need to fill up. I will click here Next. The first thing, what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to install and configure IIS because I already did. I'm not going to enable branch cache. We are going to look at the network stuff later on. The same for the LED BAT. I'm not going to enable distribution point for price stake, so configuration manager will do all the connectivity for me and copy any data that's required to be copied at any time. I will not enable for Microsoft Connect Cache Server. We will be looking at those things at a later stage. So here is just Next. The communication, right now we are doing everything HTTP. So I will keep this as HTTP. I just leave the default. If you are in an environment that's already HTTPS, let me just click here, you will need to import a certificate. It's not our case, I will leave HTTP, and I will leave this for configuration manager to take care of this certificate. On drive settings, I will leave this as default. I'm managing those via the no SMS on drive. But if you want, for example, have some set of controls, you can then use this option here. For example, I have D, E, and F, and I want to only use D and E, and F would be for something else. You could then play around with those settings. For me, normally I have only one drive. This drive could be a RAID 1, RAID 5, whatever. That's a bigger drive, and it will be, let's say, drive D. So I wouldn't care about E, F, and G, and so on. And I will always control through the no SMS on drive. Next, pool distribution point. I will not talk about pool DP yet. We will look at later video. Same for Pixie and multicast as well. And content validation. I will not look at right now. I will be looking at in the properties after we installed the distribution point. So click Next. And now boundary group I will look at later on. Click Next. And now what configuration manager is telling me is just a summary. And if I click next, then it will request configuration manager to install. While doing the request, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the CM trace software, and I'm going to open the log this MGR, and we ignore existing lines. And shortly, hopefully I did this quite quickly, we are already seeing some changes on the environment. We are going to see more information. So if you get the other logs, remember the documentation we look at a few videos back, then there is loads more logs we can start looking at. But here you're actually telling me I'm doing something. Okay, there is an error. We will be looking at some of the errors later on. And here we can see it starts to copying data. So some of the information has been, or it starts to be copied to the server. So the server starts to be installed. So if I'm going to the server now, is on the server 4. And I'm going to the D drive. You can see here we have already a SCCM content lib, as well as the SMS DP $, and here we can have some logs. So the whole process doesn't take longer. We are looking about 3 to 5 minutes normally. And as soon as the whole process is completed, then I will come back to you. In the meantime, if you like the video, leave a like, share with your friends, co-workers. If you have subscribed already, thank you very much. If not, then this is the time for you to subscribe and leave your comments and queries on the comment section below. If it's a question, remember to use the hashtag #AskRaphael. I'm going to wait another 3 to 5 minutes here just for the whole process to finish, and I'll be right back with you guys. So the installation has been completed, so at least I believe so. Let's check. So I will close the log, and here on the configuration manager console we can see here, doesn't matter if the installation has been completed or not, because this data is on the database already. You can see here the server 4 has already a distribution point there. So to monitor and see if the installation has been completed, let's go to the monitoring, system status, component status, and I'm going to search here for distribution. You can see here SMS distribution manager, and I will open here all messages. So I want to see exactly what is happening. So we can see here we have 2 errors. The message 2302. When we are installing the distribution point at the beginning, it's normal. Configuration manager will try to automatically fix this in up to about half an hour, but we will do this manually shortly. But this basically is telling configuration manager should have copied a file but couldn't. And at the beginning of the installation, it's normal because, well, the installation has not yet been completed. So you can see here is 2 packages that we had a problem. Then we have a 23. We may have the 23, and actually we have, let me just refresh here. Yeah, the 2392. You can see here the 2392 is the IIS will not be installed because we don't have the selection for this to be installed. If we have selected, the 2399 will appear instead of this 92. So if we scroll, and 2999, sorry, is the installation has been completed. It would be 2393, I guess, I believe, that it would be selected. So the other one that we need to look at is the 2362. So if we have selected the IIS, we would see that message as well. So after that, 9501 means that the DP or the PXE is disabled. and 9503 multicast is disabled. If those things were enabled, we would see 9502 and 9504 if I recall properly. So right now, Configuration Manager seems to be working in terms of the distribution point, and there is nothing for us to do anymore other than wait for those packages to be automatically copied, or like what I'm going to do now is forceful these things to happen. And the way I'm going to force things to happen and not wait about half an hour, I'm going to, on the same monitoring node, scroll down, distribution status, and I have here content status. So you can see in compliance, I have two packages. They are 0% compliance. They are one target. And if I add an extra column, failed, you can see here, let me just bring down, I have one target and one fail. So it shows me that something didn't actually work it properly. So I'm going to click here, view status, and no worries, we will have a lot more information about this area in the future. But if there is any problem, where you go, error, you can see here failed distribute content, and I can actually force here to redistribute. Instead, before actually that, so I'm going to use CM trace, again use the dismgr lock, and if I right click, reduce it, and yes, you can see here on this log that lots of things will start happening shortly. I will put another log side by side. I will put actually two logs together so that I actually can see exactly what is happening. So one is the dismgr, oops, and the other one is the pkgx, and I will merge those, and I will put them side by side. So you can see here on the dismgr, it's almost completed. You can see here sleep 1316. But shortly we are going to see another component doing something. You can see here the package transfer manager. Now this is the guy that's actually copying the files for us. The distribution manager just tells us, I'm done. I ask someone else to do the job. And now the package transfer is actually doing the copy of the files. And you can see here, I'm sending a file to this location. You can see here is stampy, but later on it will actually give the correct file name there. Okay, if I minimize and refresh this, you can see here now it's being in progress. The list here disappear, and because it's about 500 meg, it will take few minutes, or actually should not take that longer, to copy all the files. And you can see here all the files that are being copied. This file here, then we have the other file, and so on and so forth. So all the files now are being copied to Configuration Manager distribution point. While this is being, while this is copying, actually it's completed, just because I was going to tell you like the video, so you're actually not going to hear this right now. So I'm going back here to the console and refresh. You can see here is 100% compliant, and if I go back to the content status, you can see here compliance is 100%. But I have another package, that this is a smaller package, that is now 0%, and I can see the error. I'm going to repeat exactly the same procedure. Go to the view status, content status, error, select the server. I could have multiple servers. Right click, redist, yes. And I also can then monitor this through the logs. Then I can actually see exactly what, I don't need to open one is the dismgr and the other one both together. I could close this one here, for example, And because I have both logs on the same screen now, I'm seeing exactly what is happening. And if there is any, because it's ordered by date and time, it will actually show me everything that's happening on both of the packages. So that is quite good. So shortly there it will be green. Right now it's yellow, is in progress, so shortly it will be a success. But you can see that's quite simple to install a distribution point, and we should not take a long time to install. It's just take a long time to copy the data to a distribution point. And that's it for this video. So if you like, now it's time, you can like the video, you can share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And remember to click that little bell icon so you will be notified when we upload new content. That should be normally about every week. Also, queries, comments, remember to put on the comment section below. And if it's a question, remember to use the hashtag #AskRaphael, and that's going to be easier for me to find. On the next video, we are going to start looking at some of the options that we have when configure the distribution point. So stay tuned, and I'll see you there. Take care.